Hey guys, Aramis555 here. I'm just coming to you with a kind of report of the regionals that occurred in Vancouver yesterday. I do have the top 8 for you guys as well of what decks topped, and I'm going to also go over the deck that I ran and how terrible the event actually ended up being. It was a huge gong show. I actually sent a really nasty email to Konami. I'm going to tell you guys the whole story. It was just really poorly organized, and overall it was just a pretty big letdown, especially for a lot of people who had to travel quite a ways to get there. It was extremely disappointing, and yeah. I'll get to the deck profile in a bit. I'm going to put down below what time the deck profile starts at if you guys want to jump to that. But if you want to hear the regionals report, I did write down all my games on paper as I went through and all the players I played. But basically the event was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. We didn't actually start until 1 p.m. I left my car on the other side of the ferry. Of course, you guys know I live on Vancouver Island. And it only had 24 hours on it, so I had to be back that night, obviously, to pick up my car because the last ferry was at 9. So the tournament was supposed to actually end at 5 o'clock, which, you know, is expected, but once again, did not start till 1 p.m., and it was supposed to start around 10:30, you know, when the events usually start. So that was a huge, even 11 p.m. would have been fine, but that was a huge gong show. Yeah, it didn't start until 1, and we finally got underway. They actually booked out a hotel kind of room, and it was actually, on the website it said it was supposed to be 200 people, and it actually only was for 150. So they turned down 80 plus players yesterday that came from, once again, you know, probably a long ways away for some people, and they got turned away. So they spent all that money getting there for nothing. So that was really, really pathetic on their part. I mean, if you're going to advertise 200 people, make sure it's 200 people, or don't make it so it's there, like find somewhere else. But anyways, yeah, so the tournament started off at 1 o'clock. I ended up playing windups. I was going to play Inzectors, as you guys know, but I changed my mind. They had a really good Evil Swarm matchup, and I knew there was going to be a lot of Evil Swarms there, but I decided windups had an even better Evil Swarm matchup, and I ended up actually being right. Evil Swarms was one of my best matchups all day. I was expecting a lot of water there. There wasn't a lot of water. It was mainly, like, there was water, but there wasn't like a ton of it. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, I'm just going to get on with it. So game 1, I played a kid named Tanner. He was playing Fire Fist. Let's see here. I lost game 1, I won game 2, and then I won game 3. He was just playing, it was just Dino Fist. He actually didn't open Rescue Rabbit any of those 3 games. That was just, I guess, bad luck on his part. Match 2, I ended up, so I'm 1-0 right now. Match 2, I ended up playing Norm from my locals, as you guys know. He was playing his Fire Fist GBs, Gladiator Beasts, and that was disappointing because, I mean, out of 150 people, like, the chances of you playing someone from your locals is pretty slim. I ended up playing him, so we were both kind of disappointed, but we had a good match. I beat him, he beat me game 1, and then game 2 I won, and game 3 I OTK'd him. Yeah, let's see here. And then I went on to game 3, I was 2-1 at this, or 2-0 at this point. I ended up playing Junior, I forget what his name was, but he's from Seattle. He's actually topped several ICSs and regionals, and he was actually my first Evil Sword matchup of the day. I'd never played the deck before. I played it a little bit online, and he actually ended up 2-0ing me. I didn't really make any misplays. I just didn't draw super well against him. I don't know. I tried siding in Fossil Dynas game 2. Game 2, I opened the weirdest hand. I opened 2 Torrentials, 2 Deepers, and 2 Fossil Dynas. It sucked. I was like, oh, this is awful. So that really didn't do anything, unfortunately. And then other than that, yeah, he basically 2-0'd me, and then we actually played for fun afterwards because he beat me so fast, and I ended up 2-0'ing him. So I was like, okay, so I can beat this Evil Sword matchup. It's very 50-50. So match 4, I was 2-1 at this point. I ended up playing Michael Boyd, who some may recognize the name. He's actually a very well-known player. He's topped several ICSs, top 16 several times. He was playing Evil Swarms as well. I actually ended up 2-0'ing him. Game 1, it was a good back and forth kind of match, and then game 2, I ended up OTKing him, just kind of beaten down with 2 big rabbits, and then I ended up just going for a big push, so he just couldn't get around it. And then match 5, I was so stoked. I actually ended up getting to play Michael Stibbins. So if anybody recognizes that, I actually really look up to him. He's a really good player. He was actually a really nice guy, as nice as he seemed in his deck profile, so that was really cool to meet him. He was the guy who won YCS Seattle with Inzectors, and he was playing Inzectors at the event again. I sadly was not able to get a deck profile from him, but his build was really, really cool. He was running like Summoner, Monk, and Armageddon Knight, and then he'd XYZ into the Volval Chain and stuff. It was really neat. So I ended up playing Michael Stibbins. Game 1, I gained some advantage off Cardcar D and Torrential, and then I would just actually summon Wind-Up Warrior, and he had Messenger of Peace on the field. And he actually opened really good that game. He had like Foolish Burial and stuff, but he just like couldn't keep a monster in the field because I kept destroying it or whatever, and I just kept poking for 1200. And then finally got him down to 800, and I just summoned the Shark in my hand, XYZ for Cowboy, and I burned him for game. So that was game 1. Game 2, we both drew really good hands. His was excellent, and it was just kind of a slog back and forth. I actually didn't even hit him once that game, and he ended up actually beating me. So game 3, I opened really good. I opened like double Cardcar D, Wind-Up Factory, Tour Guide, and Shark, I think, and then like Torrential and whatever traps in you, and it was really good. And I drew into like Solemn Judgment, set it. He tried to storm me, and then we just played several turns. We were setting back rows, and I finally got Rabbit going, and then I just eventually beat him down with that, and I ended up winning. So yeah, that was kind of the highlight of the day, was beating Michael Stibbins. That was really, really cool. He was a great player. It was really nice to meet him, and yeah, it's kind of neat to be able to say like, oh yeah, I beat a YCS champion. So match 5 came along, and I was playing this little kid named Harjan. He was really nice. He was actually subscribed to my channel. He may watch this. So this was the issue. So by this time, we were only on match 5. There was going to be 5 matches before Top Cut. It was already 8 p.m. I'm not even kidding, guys. It took 7 hours to play 5 matches. Well, we finished match 5 at 8 p.m. And I was like, shoot, the last ferry's at 9 o'clock. I need to catch this ferry, or I'm going to get either my car towed, or I'm going to get a big fine. I'm going to get some kind of ticket because it's not cheap. And I had to kind of make the choice between, like, should I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or should I do that? And then James, who came with me, he needed to, well, he didn't need to get home, but his wife, my sister, wanted him home. So I ended up, I was like, you know what, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see if I can beat this kid, and then I'll make my decision. So we played it out. Game 1, I beat him. I was down to 1,925 life points. I freaking hate Evil Swarms. They're so annoying. Game 2, he beat me. He just opened really good. He opened Rabbit. He opened Rabbit all 3 games, actually, now that I think about it. He opened Rabbit and then did Ophion and then searched out his Lance thing. Next turn, searched out his Lance thing again, and I just wasn't able to get over it. And then game 3, it was really close. I was down to 1,550 life points, and I just ended up beating him down with 2 Wind-Up Rabbits and a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is amazing versus Evil Swarm, guys. I highly recommend running that card. It won me so many games that day. So I ended up beating him, and I had to make the decision, okay, am I going to stay, or am I going to leave so I don't, get screwed over? And honestly, I wish I had stayed, but at the same time, the tournament actually ended up going until 12:30 in the morning. I'm not even kidding. It went until 12:30 a.m. It was the worst regionals I've only attended 2, but I mean, it was just a disaster. I talked to a lot of players, and they said that players that have a lot of experience, and they said it was one of the worst regionals that they had ever attended. And this was big name players too saying this, so that was pretty bad. I actually ended up saying a really nasty email to Konami about it, because what I ended up doing was I did win. And I mean, I could have written down on the paper that I got the win, and then the kid would have got screwed over. So what I ended up doing was that I decided that I was going to drop. So I ended up giving, even though I beat the kid, I ended up giving, what's his name, Harjan, I ended up giving him the win so he could keep on playing and have a chance of topping. So I don't know if he did get top 24. If you did, and you're watching this video, comment down below and let me know, because I want to know if you actually top 24. So that'd be really cool. But yeah, so anyways, I ended up going 5-1 basically. I had to drop, and I'm pretty choked because it's that fact that you don't know if I'd kept playing, would I have been in the top 8? You know what I mean? I only needed 2 more wins. I was doing so good that day. But I mean, it's one of those situations where, I guess life happens. Hopefully Konami responds to my email and we can figure something out, because I'm pretty choked about it. Like, it was honestly, once again, the worst regionals I've ever been to. So unfortunately, I really didn't get anything out of my packs that I pulled. I got a Fire Fist, and then I got a Mermail Chick. I got a Tire King, so that was cool. I got okay cards. But, I mean, you spend, like, say, $100 to go down this thing for food, gas, ferry, and all that stuff, and then you ended up getting nothing out of it. Even though you were playing really well all day, so that's super depressing. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, I'm going to get on the deck profile. I'm going to do my main deck first, and then I'll do my extra deck, and then my side deck. So anyways, yeah, without further ado, let's get going. So we got 3 Wind-Up Rabbit. This guy's amazing. He's like one of the best cards ever. I literally like just would sit on this guy so many games. I actually had one game when I beat Michael Boyd. I actually had 3 on field, just going poke, 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 and he had like Mirror Forces and Torrentials and stuff set, but he like there's no point in him using them because I was just gonna play around. He was pretty much just doing it not to kill himself, so I was just slowly gaining advantage. 3 Wind-Up Rats. I always sided one out game 2 and 3. This was just because in your opening hand it sucks. A lot of people will be like, why would you side that out? But I am running Pot of Avarice, so it's not really a big deal. And it actually ended up working out really well. I mean, a lot of people were running 2 Rats last format when Wind-Ups were a lot bigger. So 3 Wind-Up Sharks, one of the best cards in the deck. I love Wind-Up Shark. He's so good. And then, of course, the 1 Magician. And I am only running 1 Wind-Up Warrior. Soldier's just not that good. He's a bad top deck. And you really just need the 1 Warrior. This guy also lets you do XYZ plays with Rat for making 4s, and, that can be pretty devastating. So, no changes I'd make there. I like the Wind-Up engine. 2 tour guides. Now, this is a funny story. I actually opened 2 of these 5 times yesterday. 5 times. Every single one of those games, I won. So, I don't know if it's just good luck or something, or it doesn't matter in this deck, but, I mean, even drawing 2 tour guides is still not that bad, because you're still going to summon them, and you're going to make a Zen Mains or something, and, good plays. So, I usually would say the tour guide in my hand until I had a Shark, and then I would do the tour guide, Shark, Volcasaurus play, and that ends up being like 6,200 damage, depending on what their monster's attack is. And you can honestly win games late game with it. I actually won a couple games doing that. One of the MVPs of the day, I love this card, Cardcar D, so good. This actually, I would go as far as to say definitely won me my match against Michael Stibbins. Other than Wind-Up Rabbit and the Shadow Imprisoning. He didn't draw anything either, he just had a bad hand, but I got 2 of these off game 3, and I just had so much advantage over him. So that's all the monsters, guys. It's 15 monsters. On with the spells, we have 3 Wind-Up Factory. You have to run 3. You open up with that and Rabbit, and you're in a really good position. Cool thing, actually, a lot of people don't know is if you open up with this and Shark, and you have the protection to protect Shark, and you can summon Shark, and use his effect, he's a once per turn effect. He's not just like a once while this card's on the field. So if you can protect the Shark, you can literally just keep searching out the Shark and then not lose your field advantage or so. I actually won 1 game by doing that. I just sat on Shark for 2 turns, searched out the stuff I needed, and then summoned Rabbit, and I had the Rabbit Shark, and I started doing combos. It was pretty cool. 2 Pot of Duality. This was dead. Sometimes you'd have those situations where you're like, oh, I want to go off, but you have the Duality in your hand, and you're like, I don't know, should I use it? And then, but you need it. You honestly need it. It's like one of those situations where you open Rabbit and you don't have the Factory, or you open Factory and you don't have the Rabbit, so you Duality into one or the other, and you just, it just helps things go. I was originally running 3 MSTs and 1 Storm, but I ended up running just 2 MSTs and 1 Storm, but I sided in that 3rd MST every single game. I just think this was better. Just there's the Frog Monarchs running around right now, and it's Elemental Dragons soon as well, and these cards just do nothing against them. So I don't know. I ended up playing all back row decks anyway, so it didn't matter. But 1 Tenki, 2's bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's just that I've Cardcar. You don't need it. I actually ended up siding out Tenki a lot too, just because sometimes you can draw it with a Rabbit, and you're like, it's kind of dead. Pot of Avarice. I actually ended up dropping Starlight Road for this. This card won me so many games. I got Heavy Stormed a few times yesterday, but it was only on like 1 or 2 back rows, so I was like, whatever. This card, though, was such a good top deck in a lot of games. This card I didn't like at all, Mind Control. This was the card I ended up signing out every game for the 3rd MST. This is actually what I ended up dropping the 3rd MST for, but I'm probably just going to end up cutting this out for Book of Moon. Book of Moon is just a lot more versatile. You can use it on Rat in your end phase and then flip them back up next turn and use the effect again. You can use it to get over small defense monsters with Rabbit and whatnot. So, I don't know, Mind Control is just, I always had it in my hand a couple games. I only drew it like maybe 3 times. And every game I drew it literally just sat there because people were setting monsters. I didn't want to grab something that was like level 2 or something and not be able to do anything. So, and then Monster Reborn Dark Hole. And onto the traps. This is very standard traps. 2 Fiendish Chain, 2 Mirror Force. This card put in a lot of work. 2 Deep Prisons. That was really good as well. Best trap in the format right now is Torrential. Oh my gosh. So many games I would set this puppy and your opponent doesn't... Well, you don't... Okay, I'll explain. Your opponent will summon 1 monster and you don't Torrential. So they're like, okay, he doesn't have the Torrential. It must not be a Bottomless, must be a Deep Prison. So they don't attack. And then they're going to end up summoning like another monster, especially versus Evil Swarm if they don't have the Infestation in their hand. It's really good because they're going to double summon and then you just flip up Torrential. And basically it just pops 2 monsters, you go +1 off of it. And this thing with Rabbit as well is stupid. It's so stupid. I will always run 2 Torrential. I'm really not afraid of Starlight Road. I don't really care about that card that much. 2 Bottomless Trapples, these are really good as well. Good versus Evil Swarm. Once again, they go Rabbit, summon the 2 Heliotrope dudes or whatever, and you just banish them both. And then Solemn and Judgment. Or Warning and Judgment, I should say. So that was the main deck, guys. It was a total of 40 cards. It ran super good. The only thing I didn't like was, once again, the Mind Control. I'm going to drop that for book, and then I think I'll have the deck exactly where I like it. Yeah, so onto the extra deck here. I got my Zeramus token. So we had the 1 Gaia Dragon. He's just there. You need it. You know, he's good. Now, the reason why I wanted to run Mind Control was because of him, but I ended up not really playing any decks that would bring out anything bigger than rank 4s, so it wasn't really that effective. And then we had Tyrus and Adris. Adris, actually, a lot of people aren't running it anymore. I still like it just because it hits face-up cards that hurt us. Like, I summoned out against Michael Boyd. I think it was game 1 because he had macro up, and that was a really good game, actually. And I tried to get rid of the macro, but he ended up having Torrential or something. I can't remember. He warning it or something. But I mean, it's just there because, like, yes, Volcasaurus can pop face-up monsters and do damage, but this guy can hit anything, so he's good versus Dark Worlds. You can get rid of their field spell. You can get rid of, like, you know, something that's just stopping you from attacking, like not level limit, what's it called, Messenger of Peace, stuff like that. So I still really, really like Adris. He's one of my favorite XYZs. Volcasaurus won many games today. Busted card. I only made Shockmaster twice yesterday, surprisingly. A lot of my plays ended up just being dropping Volcasaurus and stuff. 1 Black Chip of Corn. I think I made him once, actually. He didn't win me a game, but I made him once. I was making Pappy all day long. I made Maestroke several times. Bistweller, I was really excited to get this guy. This was actually one of the reasons I wanted to play the deck, was because I knew water was going to be there in abundance, and I ended up playing no water. So this was one of the few XYZ guys. I never made him, not once. Cowboy won me 2 games. I ended up burning for game twice with this guy, so that was cool. 1 being Michael Stibbins. For rank 3s, we have Leviathan Dragon. I'm not running Acid Golem sometimes. I'm only running 5 rank 3s, and I kind of wish I was running 6. But it's like one of those situations where I don't know what to cut out of either one of the 4 spots or one of the 5 spots. So, I mean, I could drop Adris, but I like Adris too much. And in the 4 spots, I could drop Cowboy, but Cowboy won me 2 games yesterday, so why would I want to drop it? Soul Server Mountain, I only made him once, but he definitely baited out the back row because I summoned him. You know, you get the 2 rats floating or rabbits floating, and then you XYZ to this guy, and they know they have to respond to it, or else you're gonna stun their back row, and then you start going off. So he's really, really good. Tempo, I'm actually probably gonna drop this card. It sucks. It's really not that good anymore. I had several times where I'm like, oh, I could bring this out, but then opponent only had like 1 XYZ, and it wouldn't be big enough after that to get over their monster. And I was like, this thing sucks. I wish it was like either Acid Golem or another Zen Mains. I may actually end up running Acid Golem, even though you can't special summon. That can really hurt you a lot. I might end up cutting it for Acid Golem just because that 3000 can really be powerful. 1 Invoker, and then 1 Zen Mains. I actually might end up also cutting the Tempo for a second Zen Mains. I was making Zen Mains all day long in this deck. You go, you have a Torrential set, and you have a Factory in the field, and you summon this guy, activate Torrential, pop their monster, end phase, you pop a back row, and then you get a Search. It was so busted. I did that like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. Sorry for the long video, guys. I'll kind of do it in chunks. So onto the side deck, we have 2 Max C. I never played any water, so I never sided it once. Same with the Trigodias, never sided it. I sided these because I thought they'd be good versus like Samurai and stuff, and they are really good versus those decks, Samurai, Karakuri, and whatnot, but I ended up not playing any of those decks. I just played like stun decks like Evil Swarm, Fire Fist, and Inzectors. So I tried it versus Evil Swarm that 1 game versus Junior, and it didn't do anything, and I was like, oh, I kind of wish this was Snowman Eater instead. But then even Snowman now is not that great because Heliotrope just runs it over by 50, which is stupid. So more water hate, 2 Defreshers. Level Limit Area B, this won me my 3rd game versus Norm. This card's awesome. It's so good. You get that thing on the field, the rabbit, and you're just like poke, 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 poke. You just keep going. Third Mystical I was sided in. My favorite trap of the day, 2 Shadow Imps. This card was fantastic. Excuse me. The third D Prism was really good as well, and I just threw in a random card. I threw in Dust Tornado for another back row hate. Just changes I like my side deck a lot, but changes I'd probably drop the Fossil Dynas, and I'd probably drop out the Dust Tornado for something else. But other than that, it all ran really, really well. So that was the deck, guys. Thanks for watching for so long. Sorry, it was like 20 minutes. But yeah, the regionals was a big disappointment. I probably would have topped, or at least gotten the top 24 and got my invite, so that was disappointing. But I mean, overall, it was a lot of fun. I got to meet a couple of my fans, signed a few cards, and I got to meet a lot of big players that I have a lot of respect for. So that was really, really neat, and I got to beat Michael Stibbins, so that was pretty sick. But yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.